Today I will tell you about an adventure-fantastic film called Valerian and the City of Thousands of Planets from the legendary director Luc Besson. Attention, there are spoilers ahead. I wish you a pleasant viewing. The film begins with a story about the creation of a space station called Alpha, which was built over several decades. Construction ended in 2020. Since then, Alpha has become the center for all intelligent representatives from different parts of the galaxy. Captains of the station from generation to generation receive new brothers on Alpha. For hundreds of years, the intergalactic station has grown to such an extent that its mass began to threaten the Earth, and the president of the planet decided to withdraw the station from the orbit of the Earth and direct it to Magellan Stream to spread human culture. The entire cosmos. 400 years later, on the planet Mule, inhabited by humanoids, Princess Liku wakes up with her pet representative of the species called converters. She washes herself with some pearls that heal her skin, then leaves the house on the street. The surroundings are like a paradise, populated by friendly creatures. Lich is greeted by the residents of Mula, who call themselves Pearls. They mine pearls on the shore of the sea. The queen chooses a special pearl from all the harvest and sends her daughter Licha with the words, "We will return to the earth what it gives us." And from it hundreds of the same pearls that feed the planet begin to fall. In a second, alien objects begin to penetrate the atmosphere of the planet. Emperor Coban orders everyone to evacuate to a safe place. They find fragments of a ship with human bodies. Following the planet, a huge spaceship lands, destroying the entire surface of the planet. They manage to hide in one of the crashed ships. But unfortunately, the daughter of the Emperor turned out to be outside and they were unable to open the door. To open the locked door, the boar looks out the window as his daughter dies, but before death, Lihua manages to send a signal to the galaxy. This signal reaches Major Valerian, who at that moment slept on a virtual beach chair. He believes that it was just a dream. Sergeant Laurelin comes to him, and they begin to play with each other. They are interrupted by an autopilot signal about the upcoming landing. The sergeant denies that she is in love with Valerian. Since he has too much of a service list in the affairs of the heart and my name in your list of victories will not appear. What list I want, Alex? You could not show us the list. No. He convinces that Laurel is another case for him and wants his heart to belong only to her. Before leaving the ship, Valerian asks the artificial intelligence named Alex to analyze his strange dream. He receives an answer that it was not a dream, but a signal sent from outside. They go to planet Kyrian with the task of finding a converter and delivering it to Alpha. The minister reports that this converter is the last representative of his kind. The team on the planet is surprised by their pretense. The major is dropped off at the big market. At the exit, he asks, either in a joke or seriously, will Laurelin marry him? She naturally jokes off and goes to the landing point to wait for Valerian. On the market, tourists use special equipment to see the market, because it is in a different dimension. In helmets, visitors can see and interact with invisible alien shutters. On the other hand, the market, the remaining team members land and Laurelin shoots at the guard with a special tracker that allows you to control the victim's body. The major enters the market while Laurelin on the other hand goes to him. Valerian meets at the market with Sergeant Cooper, which gives him special glasses for orientation in another dimension and a trance box to move objects between two dimensions. He also makes him invisible to another dimension using a special device. At this time, two mysterious representatives of the planet Mule go to the store and argue with the seller. One of them is the son of an emperor named Tsuri. He is trying to bargain for a converter for pearls. A seller named Egon wants to take the pearl and leave a converter for himself, which leads to a confrontation. At this time, the invisible Valerian penetrates the tent, threatening Egon with a pistol, steals the converter stolen from the Federation and a pearl at the same time, then hides from the place. However, the trans box on his hand is damaged and becomes visible. The guards begin to attack him. They shot him with magnetic balls to immobilize him. Valerian, under the weight of the balls, falls several floors down the market, until he gets into a room with a sluggish alien child. Valerian gets rid of the magnetic balls. He leads the child to go do lessons, which upsets him. An angry mother runs out into the tears of the child and chases after Valerian. He runs away from her. Later, he meets Laurelin, who fixes his transbox. At this moment, the chain dog of Egon rushes to the agents. The couple rushes at all times to their bus. On the bus, they go to the ship, but the beast attacks the transport. Their weapon turns out to be powerless before the animal. Valerian and Laureline jump on the ship, the beast follows them. Fortunately, they gain altitude and move into the exospace, dropping the beast. Valerian finds out that the girl from his dreams is from the same planet as this pearl. This pearl has 10 times more energy than in our ship. Alex declares that this planet no longer exists. The Major tries to find more information about its disappearance, but is denied access. Access is only allowed by the General. After a while, the couple arrives at Alpha Station. By this time, the station has more than 300 million inhabitants and more than 3,000 species of intelligent creatures. They are greeted by General Octobar. He talks about the radioactive zone that was formed in the center of the station a year ago. Commander Aaron Fillet joins the instruction and says that the zone can destroy the entire station in a week. The minister appoints agents Valerian and Laurelin responsible for the safety of the commander in the mission to eliminate this zone, despite the fact that he has a whole army of robots for protection. The commander tries to refuse the assigned agents, but the minister insists. Secretly from everyone, the commander holds the representative of the pearls hostage. She is tormented, but he orders to extract as much information as possible from her. Before the Council of Civilization representatives, Laurelin refuses to hand the converter over to the commander, arguing that the value of this creature is equal to the value of the entire galaxy, since it is the last of its kind and is able to reproduce any object in large quantities. Commander is angry at such disobedience, but according to the Constitution, he cannot do anything. At the meeting, the commander reports on the current information about the radioactive zone. Behind the doors of the Laurelin meeting, 3 talking penguins approach and offer her valuable information about the planet Mull. They say that Major Sang, a specialist on the planet Mull, died under mysterious circumstances. They are trying to exchange more information about the planet for a converter. Laurelin sends them away, calling them pigeons. Suddenly, the pearls break into the council room. They shoot at all the blue substances that immobilize the victims. When everyone is paralyzed, they take the commander. Valerian has a spider robot that cuts the cocoon and frees him. He quickly finds his partner and frees her too. Valerian chases the commander and the pearls through different areas of the station in his power suit. While Laurelin assists him from the command room, the residents of Mule reach their ship and go to the center of Alpha in the radioactive zone. Valerian climbs into another ship and chases them on it. After a long chase with a shootout, Pearl and the commander penetrate the radioactive zone, during which the team group loses sight of them. Laurelin is going to chase Valerian into this zone, but the general orders his people to detain her. A couple of minutes later, she signs up for the guards of the starfish. The talking penguins lead her to a pirate named Bob and pay him to deliver them to her. A brain medusa that is able to determine the location of Valerian. Meanwhile, the general is trying to get information about the planet Mule, but he does not have enough rights to get information, which causes him suspicions. Laurelin and the penguins arrive at the place to the herding bromosaurs, on whose backs live brain medusas. Having stolen one of them, they run away, barely being destroyed bromosaurs. Laurelin puts on a brain medusa on the head and connects to Valerian's consciousness to find out his location. She arrives at the crash site of his ship and finds Valerian. Brings him to his senses thanks to medical gadgets. The general finds a hidden room in which the commander holds the prisoner of pearls and commands to free her. She says that the pearls attacked people because those have what they need. Laurelin notices a beautiful butterfly. But before Valerian has time to tell her not to touch her, the butterfly grabs her and drags her up, where the giant alien narrows her down like a fish and puts her in a cage. Valerian grabs one of the butterflies, the alien takes it out and gets a headshot from Valerian. The only way to get into the base of the giants is to reincarnate into one of them. To do this, he needs to find Glomopoda. While he is busy looking for him, the giant alien picks up outfits for Laurelin. She refuses to change into it. The owner of the club offers Valerian to enjoy the show of Glomopoda in his bar. He is impressed with a performance by a Glomopoda named Bubble, who changes outfits during the dance in seconds. After her enchanting performance, Valerian asks for help in saving Laurelin. She refuses to help, forcing Valerian to lay down his gun. Out of fear, Bubble turns into his true form. Valerian shoots the lieutenant. After he promised to free her, she agrees to help. Bubble envelopes Valerian and turns him into a giant alien. They enter the ceremony of aliens and realize that Laurelin has sacrificed the king of giants. As soon as the king is going to open her head like a boiled egg, Valerian and Bubble use their fighting skills and kill the king with his whistle. The trio rushes to meet the remaining aliens, but Bubble drags them into a ventilation hole. Bubble is mortally wounded. Valerian, before her death, says that she is the best dancer he has ever seen. Due to the lack of a commander, the minister entrusts the general with his powers. The commander receives full access to his files. Valerian and Lorlin go to the center of Alpha, where they come across a colored barrier. When they pass through the barrier, they are met by Emperor Pearl and his wife. They say that the soul of their daughter chose Valerian to be her guardian. Haben says that their planet was a real paradise until it was destroyed due to a war near the planet. They say that it was Commander Philae who gave the order to shoot the alien ship, during which he crashed on their planet, destroying it completely. The survivors managed to escape on a half-destroyed ship. They learned the language of the ship, learned how to control it and went to Alpha. They realized that they could restore their civilization with the help of the Pearl and the last converter, which is located at Valerian and Lorlin. Cobbin declares that they forgave people for the destruction of the planet. Then he awakens the commander and he declares that he had no other choice. During the conversation, it turns out that the commander knew that the planet Mule was inhabited by intelligent creatures. Is the planet habitable? By primitive forms of life? No, Commander. That despite this, he neglected the whole civilization to attack the enemy. History is written by the winners. And neither you nor a bunch of savages will get in my way. And when he found out that the pearls had survived and hid on Alpha, the commander decided to destroy them to secretly keep his fatal mistake. Then the commander killed Major Sanko as a witness to the destruction of the entire civilization. Lorlin persuades Valerian to give the converter to the pearls, contrary to the command of the leadership. Using a converter with a pearl, the pearls build a mini-planet Mule on their ship. Outside the barrier, the army of the general arrives and installs bombs. Having taken positions, the army is waiting for the command. Meanwhile, Valerian and Lorlin are trying to contact the general and persuade him to cancel the assault. After listening to the whole story, the general believes them. However, Philid commands his drones to attack everyone who knows about his decency. Drones begin to kill both pearls and the general's soldiers. Also, the drones break into the trench and attack the command. Valerian enters the battle with the drones. Meanwhile, the pearls manage to leave the station on their ship. During the battle, Valerian manages to install a return report with bombs. The general orders to arrest Philip. At the end of the film, Valerian makes Lorlin a real proposal with a pearl ring. This time she accepts the offer and the couple kisses.